Cliff Richard, adored by millions, possessed looks, talent, and fame. Yet marriage eluded him. For decades, fans wondered why the man who sang of love never shared his life with anyone. At 85, he reflects on the pressures of fame, promises made to God, and choices that shaped his life. Behind the songs and charm was a man caught between two worlds, the stage and the life he never lived. This quiet tension defined him, creating a distance between public adoration and personal fulfillment, and forging a life guided by discipline and devotion rather than romance. From Harry Webb to Cliff Richard Bourne. Harry Webb in post-war Hertfordshire, he transformed into Cliff Richard almost overnight. At just 18, he became a symbol of hope, youth, and rebellion, as Britain emerged from gray austerity into color and optimism. Fame hit like a storm. Screaming fans, constant media attention, and endless performances. Yet behind the spotlight, he remained the shy boy at home, obedient to his parents. The world saw confidence. He felt overwhelmed. Pressured to match Elvis Presley's charisma, he learned early to control his image. Every word, gesture, and decision became deliberate, a protective strategy in a world that demanded constant perfection. The weight of early success. Success arrived too soon, and Cliff felt its burden deeply. Exhaustion became routine, as rehearsals stretched into the night and tours offered no respite. Observing peers falter under fame, he vowed never to lose control or let emotion dictate his life. This discipline became both survival and foundation. Talent, he believed, was a gift demanding stewardship. While others sought freedom, he found structure. Yet applause reminded him of a missing piece: connection and normalcy. Gradually, he built emotional walls, not from arrogance but self-preservation. The boy who once dreamed of love songs now used them to maintain distance from the very intimacy he once desired. A love deferred. Behind the public image, Cliff navigated relationships with care. His first serious romance was with Delia Wicks, a dancer who loved him long before fame consumed his life. They imagined a future, but the relentless pace of tours, press calls, and performances made it impossible. Delia's later letter revealed the heartbreak. She loved him, but he loved his work more. Cliff kept the letter as a reminder of the cost of discipline. Other opportunities appeared and vanished. Though charming and kind, he maintained distance. It was never pride. It was fear of distraction from purpose. Romance became something sung about, not lived, shaping the life he ultimately chose. Faith and commitment. By his late 20s, Cliff's faith became central. He saw talent and marriage as gifts requiring responsibility. To him, marriage was not mere companionship. It demanded presence, stability, and devotion he could not fully offer while touring constantly. Romantic longing remained, but pragmatism guided him. The stage became constant. Music replaced intimacy. Friendship and mentorship offered connection without the constraints of traditional love. His decision to remain unmarried was not rejection, but alignment with a higher calling. Faith demanded focus, and he believed that love and marriage should never be divided by half measures, especially when the life he led required complete dedication. A friendship that endured. In the 1970s, Cliff formed a friendship with a woman who understood his world without needing it explained. They shared values of privacy, faith, and integrity, forming a bond both deep and enduring. On stage, their chemistry was visible, but Cliff drew a line between closeness and commitment. Companionship, he realized, could exist without romance. Their friendship became an anchor, a source of calm amid scrutiny, a mirror reflecting qualities he admired. Over decades, the bond endured. When she grew ill, Cliff remained quietly devoted. The connection showed that love does not require possession. Restraint and loyalty could create a profound and lasting form of affection. Love in many forms. Over the years, Cliff's understanding of love expanded beyond convention. He nurtured friendships, remembered birthdays, and wrote letters. Faith communities offered belonging. Mentorship provided purpose. Love, he he concluded, was not confined to marriage. Companionship, loyalty, and service became his expressions of devotion. Acts of kindness, care for others, and enduring friendships reflected a life lived fully in the realm of affection, even without romance. For Cliff, the depth of connection mattered more than public validation. The relationships he built were genuine, sustained, and meaningful. Proof that love exists in multiple forms, and that fulfillment can come from devotion to people and principles rather than societal expectation. Facing loneliness and loss. Even with purposeful living, solitude had its weight. Loneliness appeared in quiet moments, after shows, in hotel rooms, and in the passing of dear friends. Yet Cliff reframed this emptiness not as punishment but as consequence of choice. The absence of marriage left space for service, music, and faith. His path allowed him freedom from distractions that might have diverted his life from purpose. The ache of companionship unclaimed was real, but it was tempered by the richness of the life he created. Friendships, meaningful work, and spiritual practice filled what society often defines as voids, demonstrating that a life of intention can sustain the heart without conforming to norms. Legacy of discipline and faith. Cliff. Richard's life exemplifies balance between fame and integrity. Fame brought visibility, yet discipline protected him from scandal and excess. Faith shaped his decisions, guiding him toward a life of service rather than indulgence. Music became his constant companion, friendships his anchor, and charity his expression of love. He remained unshaken as peers faltered under pressures that might have consumed him. Longevity in the industry was matched by moral consistency, and the restraint that shaped his personal life also preserved his career. Cliff's choices reveal that true fulfillment can coexist with sacrifice, and that self-discipline can protect as much as it demands. Reflection and peace. At 85, Cliff speaks of his life with acceptance. The path he chose, a life without marriage, was deliberate, guided by faith and purpose. He does not dwell on what might have been, recognizing both the cost and the gain of his choices. Applause, success, and public recognition provided joy, but friendships, faith, and service gave meaning. Loneliness visited occasionally, yet it was part of the life he consciously designed. He credits his peace to staying true to himself. Happiness, he realized, does not conform to public expectation. Fulfillment comes from alignment with purpose, and love exists in many forms beyond romantic partnership. The measure of a life, well-lived Cliff. Richard's story is not one of regret, but clarity. Fame did not consume him. Discipline preserved him. Romance, while absent, was replaced by devotion to music, faith, and friendship. He nurtured a circle that reflected marriage's stability without formal vows. Legacy for him is measured in acts of kindness, lasting bonds, and service to others. Loneliness exists alongside fulfillment, but it does not diminish achievement. His life proves that devotion, integrity, and restraint can sustain a heart as fully as any romantic connection. Cliff remains a symbol of grace, showing that true love in its many forms can endure without possession. A life fully chosen. Cliff. Richard's journey demonstrates that living deliberately, with conviction, can yield profound contentment. He gave his heart to music, time to friends, and faith to God. Every act became an expression of love, shared widely and freely. While society often equates happiness with marriage, Cliff's experience proves otherwise. His life reflects resilience, clarity, and fulfillment born from choices made with integrity. The quiet strength that defined him, discipline, faith, and loyalty, ensured that even in solitude he lived fully. Through decades of fame, he maintained perspective, proving that love, purpose, and devotion are not limited to convention, but can thrive in intentional living.